My YouTube algorithm has been blowing up saying that this generation is a boring generation. There's no one doing hobbies anymore, or scrolling on social media is a new form of a hobby. And there's one video in particular that I loved watching, so I'll link it down below if I can find it. And she mentions how hobbies are expensive. And this is where I agree and disagree at the same time. I believe that hobbies can be expensive as much as you want them to be, or they can be as affordable as you want them to be. So here is my little tips and tricks on how I get into new hobbies and continue to maintain my hobbies as a one-income family. So let's get to it. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, we do have to talk about budgeting, because budgeting is king for getting into hobbies. Honestly, we have tried a few different methods of budgeting, and I will say that there is no one size fits all kind of budget. You just have to really trial and error to see what works well for you and your family. We have really latched on to the cash envelopes idea. We've tweaked it to fit more of our family dynamics, but this has saved us thousands of dollars, whereas other budgeting methods have not. So really try that out. That is like the best tip for budgeting I'm going to give. Again, cash envelope systems might not work for you, and that's totally cool. There is a budget that's going to work well for you, I promise. You just have to figure it out. Okay, now let's get into the meat and potatoes. What do I even want to say first? There's like so many good things that I use and do, especially in my hobby. Let me see. Oh, no, this is what I wanted to mention first. Okay, the first thing I want to mention is to honestly remove the romanticized idea of a hobby. I love social media. This is where I learn all of my new hobbies and get a bit better trained, I guess, without having to pay for a teacher. And it's so fantastic, but it is really hard to separate the idea that they're doing this as a job instead of they're doing this as a hobby. Because especially when you're sewing, you'll see the person creating a beginner-friendly tutorial while they have 3 sewing machines just chilling in the background of their video, or where they'll just like hop onto a serger real quick and serge the edges, where a lot of beginners don't have a serger, and that's totally fine. There are other ways to finish a seam. You can, use pinking shears, you can French seam. You can do what I do, which is usually zigzag the seam to finish it off. Some people don't even finish it, and that's totally cool. So I would just try to remove that romanticization of what this hobby should look like, and really, I guess, just understand that these influencers, these social media hobbies extraordinaires are doing it for a job. And when you go and work in corporate, the job is going to provide you with all the equipment where you don't have to pay for it yourself, right? This is the same thing, except instead of, pushing numbers, they're sewing. So of course they're going to have more tools that are a little bit more accessible and make their job fly quicker so they can spend time more editing or whatever it may be. So just kind of downgrading the idea of the hobby you want, and then you're good. The second thing is also super important and also free, which is going to a library. Libraries are a great resource to learn about different hobbies, or, reading is a hobby. Reading and writing, you can definitely go to the library and, use their computers. Also, some libraries actually do have other equipment that you can rent out. Mine actually has a video lab, so you can rent out video cameras. They have editing software that you can use and dabble in. And there's piano rooms that you can use. There's a ton of things. You just have to kind of see what your library has to offer. The third thing, which I have often used especially when I was trying to get started in sewing to make it more affordable, was to actually ask my friends and family if they knew anyone who was getting rid of a sewing machine or getting rid of any type of hobby that I was wanting to get into, like woodworking, crocheting, knitting, stuff like that. And by doing that, it allows a lot more eyes on the lookout for you. In fact, I even told my mom, I was like, hey, you're friends with older people. Are they getting rid of any sewing machines? I'd be willing to buy it from them or whatever. And I did not find a sewing machine that way, but it actually allowed them to be like, you know what, I'm not getting rid of my sewing machine, but I'm actually destashing. I'm getting rid of these fabric swatches. Does your daughter want them? Or, hey, I'm also getting rid of a sheet set. Does your daughter want them to use for fabric? Which is still great to have. You can use those fabric swatches for patchworks or even the sheet sets to make a dress or just to start somewhere without costing a lot. So a lot of people are more willing to donate to a hobby. Okay, and the fourth tip, which is how I got my sewing machine, is going to thrift stores. A lot of people are donating these older hobbies. So that is a great resource. Going to Facebook Marketplace, please be smart. There are some sketchy people out there. Meet in public places. Have someone with you. Be a little defensive, okay? But you can go to yard sales or even estate sales. Estate sales is where I find most of my fabric. There are also ones I found like just other like random sewing supplies there. Estate sales is golden. So if you don't have a thrift store that really has a nice crafting area, I would recommend going to estate sales. Number one, they're fun. And number two, you can also find other things besides hobbies. I find a lot of pantry stuff there because people are just trying to get rid of stuff from the house. So I highly recommend. It's a fun day when you go estate sailing. And the fifth and final thing is if you do have to shop retail, look for all of the deals. Look for coupons, look for Groupons, look for whatever you can get your hands on. Wait till a holiday weekend comes and you can buy your equipment then. It's going to save you a lot of money. I also like to call them financial loopholes. So for instance, let me pull it up. I actually use this app called Fetch where I scan, it looks like this. I scan a receipt and it gives me 25 points, or if I buy a certain brand, it'll give you more points just depending on what you're buying for that week or whatever. And you can get points back to redeem in gift cards or other like cashback avenue apps or whatever. Those are really great too. From this app alone, I've gotten over $100 worth of gift cards. It honestly could have been more if I was more diligent about taking pictures of the receipts or looking to see what is the best deal going on for that week or whatever. But I'm not. This is just me really doing it like lazily. So even me just doing it lazily, I still got over $100 back in gift cards. So that is another way to kind of look for a financial loophole in buying your equipment. You can get gift cards from these sites, which are really useful. Anyway, those are my 5 tips that I usually go through when I'm trying to get into a new hobby or continue to have my original hobbies. So I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.